Regan Slaymaker for International Boxing News, and this is episode, I think, 5 of the journey so far, where we sit down with fighters early on in their career and we talk about the journey so far. But I'm joined by my mate, Maiseyrose Courtney. Maisie, how are you today, mate?
I'm sweet, mate. How are you?
I was better when shout out to Caitlin from Matchroom. She messaged me last night. Do you want to come to the Matchroom gym? Emily Whitworth's training with Maiseyrose. I was like, yeah, go on then. Little did I know Maiseyrose had a nice idea that she wanted to get me in for sparring today. Talk me through that one, mate.
Listen, I needed to get 8 rounds out. Emily only wanted 4 and you walked in and I was like, do you know what? A poacher. Yeah, got you in for a little 4 rounds.
The poacher?
Yeah, that's it. I was like, you look like something I want to beat up, Brie. Do you know what I mean?
I give that impression to most people, to be fair, mate. But let's move on to your career so far. I mean, obviously, last fight, Jasmina, was a loss. Boxing's going to be boxing sometimes. But I mean, do you reflect your career so far in the boxing game?
It's been good. Do you know what I mean? And boxing is boxing, and that's something I've always you lose in boxing. The best, the greats, the legends of the sports have lost. And if anything, it's done me an absolute favour. You know, you don't realise how bad you want to become a champion. You want to become a world champion. You want to do the sport if you don't have things go wrong. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, listen, things happen. It's what you do afterwards. Do you sit there and cry and go in a downward spiral and be like, oh, everything's bad, everything's this? Or do you go back to the gym, you restart, you regroup, you go again, and you wrong your rights, or right your wrongs.
Right your wrongs, yeah.
That's it, yeah. There you go.
Definitely, mate, as well. Obviously, I feel like the Floyd Mayweather effect I don't shout out to Floyd, but I think it's ruined boxing in many aspects. Too many people focus on that one loss, but obviously, I was speaking to Kevin Lorena the other day, and he said you win some and you learn some. You don't lose anything. Definitely the mindset that you have going into the rest of your career moving forward.
No, of course. If anything, I'm quite lucky it's happened so early on. Do you know what I mean? Like I said, I'm just a baby, just turned 24, and I've never really boxed. I've not boxed anyone under the age of 30. Do you know what I mean? And female boxing is taking a turn, and all the world champions are of the older era. Do you know what I mean? The talent pool's small. And there's a change happening, and all the young ones are coming through. And when you are in there with a woman who's fully grown and they've done it and they've been there and they've got the belts and the t-shirts and all of that, got the belts, a little bit of a sore subject, but it happens. And do you know what I mean? I'm really grateful, and yeah, it's onwards and upwards from now on. And I know what not to do. I know how to change things, how to. Do you know, it's a blessing, and I can either sit there and let it ruin me, or sit there and make sure it doesn't happen again.
Definitely as well. You talked about the talent pool there. Obviously, the women's game is excelling. Obviously, we've got your mate Sky Nicholson fighting Raven Chapman in Saudi Arabia as well. But in the women's code, you're only ever one win away from that major opportunity as well. So obviously, I'm going to ask you what's next. Is that very much the aim? Get the next win out of the way, and then go back to the European title level, the ranking title level that you wanted to be at in your last fight?
No, yeah, of course. Listen, you can't fight for a title after a loss. And if they said to me I could, I'd 100% go back into 10 rounds. I love 10 rounds. I was flying for 10 rounds, but didn't do much. But no, listen, have a little warm-up fight. Maybe try and fight 2 times this year, something like that, 2 6-rounders or a 6 and an 8. And then we're back to it. Do you know what I mean? You can't keep a good girl down. I'm tough as old boots. Do you know what I mean? I'm a fighting woman. It's in my blood, it's in my genes, and there's no getting rid of me. Absolutely no getting rid of me.
There definitely isn't, speaking from experience. Obviously, we've sat down, we've had many chats. It's the first time this is more of a conversation. If you have any questions for me, please ask them. But is there anything that when you started in professional boxing that maybe you weren't expecting when you turned over, or there's been a new challenge, whether that be the media side of things or I don't know, the criticism side of things? Anything you weren't expecting that has happened in your career?
I don't know. It's I remember having this conversation before with someone, and it's like, it's something that you can't really get used to. Do you know what I mean? And people are watching you go through it, and they're all like, there's loads of excitement around it. It's this is amazing, this is this. But it's also my first time doing it. Do you know what I mean? And it's something you just take every day as it comes. Someone might say something horrible about your forehead. I've heard that enough. Do you know what I mean? But it's nothing that my father ain't said to me before. Do you know what I mean? And it's all a pinch of salt. You're learning every day on the job. Professional boxing is totally different to amateur boxing, and I've got the best people around me. I've got people who've been through it, I've got people who haven't been through it and all that, and yeah, you learn, you fight, and you carry on winning, hopefully.
Definitely, mate. As well, Karis Artingstall called you a rat on Twitter yesterday. I saw that was a bit out of the blue, wasn't it?
Yeah, she did actually. She told me to wind my neck in.
It's a bit out of order, if you ask me.
I think, do you know what I mean? She's sitting there, Olympian and all of that. She's only ever gone 6 rounds. So if I was her, I'd focus on your career, darling. It's really boring what you've just said then. If I ain't riding my fucking neck in for fuck all money. Listen, talking to me like that, I was only calling her a shit ass. What's this about? Leave off.
I'm scared now. I feel like I'm going to cut the interview any minute. I mean, but you can take the girl out of Elton, but you can't take out Elton out of the girl.
I don't know.
Obviously, there's a lot of fighters in this gym, mate. Obviously, John Ryder has lost a few times. Has John been kind of a guy who you've spoken to? Obviously, lost a few times, and then he goes on to fight Canelo in Guadalajara. Like, is he been kind of a good person to talk to in this time?
John is the best. I don't know how to explain it. Do you know what I mean? If anything in boxing he's been through, he's been with promoters, he's been dropped by promoters, he's lost fights, he's been robbed of fights. Do you know what I mean? He's boxed the best in the world, he's been beat, he's been knocked out, and he's made himself a millionaire out of it. Do you know what I mean? And to have someone like that in your corner, backing you, training you, and saying, do you know what? You're going to be all right. You're going to believe him, do you know what I mean? And listen, these things happen. And I put my full faith in John and Tony and everyone down the gym. And yeah, we love John. John's the best. We
definitely do. Shout out John Ryder as well. Maze, what would you say the hardest part of your career so far? Obviously, we've spoken about the loss. So outside of the loss, what do you think the hardest thing in your career has been so far?
It was the moments after. I would say it would be during the rounds when you know you're down and you can't do nothing about it. But it was afterwards, looking in hindsight and you're being like, like if you know something ain't right, do you know what I mean? And thinking about it or whatever, you kick yourself. Do you know what I mean? And then it's them moments after when you're like, you want to pack it all in, you want to do this, you want to do that, because they're thoughts you are going to have. Do you know what I mean? And I'm sure every other boxer that has ever lost had them feelings, but it's finding the confidence in yourself and the belief in yourself to change it. Do you know what I mean? It's really easy to go on a downward spiral and to be like, sod it, I ain't doing it no more and all of that. And then being like, nah, I want to do it. And then pulling yourself up and then going for a run and putting your boots on and all that, gum shield in, and then beating the granny out of you, mate. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, cheers for that, mate. Again, I mean, but that shows that you've got the right mindset kind of going into that as well. I want to talk about your running, mate. I've never seen someone just think I'm going to do a marathon today, and you just do this most of it. You love your running. I mean, it takes me kind of a while to get mentally prepared for a 5k, let alone 26.2 miles. I mean, but what is it about the running that you enjoy so much?
I don't enjoy it, to be honest. I could sit here and lie to you and say it's the best thing on earth, but it's not. No, I'll tell you what actually happened. My dad loves running. He's no good at it, but he loves it. And I said to him once, I was like, oh yeah, no, I would never run a marathon. It's too hard, it's too long. Do you know what I mean? Like, what am I going to do? Like, running for 4.5 hours, 5 hours. And then the next day I woke up and I was like, I'm going to go for a 20k. Never ran 20k before. I think the furthest I've run was like 12. And I got to 20k and I was like, do you know what? I'm going to carry on going. And then it got to like 30 and I was like, I might as well just do a marathon. Do you know what I mean? I weren't prepared for it. I had a jam sandwich beforehand. I had no electrolytes, nothing. I think I bought a Gatorade on the way and then I just carried on going and then did a full marathon. Yeah, it was alright. I wouldn't do it again though.
Can we talk about your dad's tattoo?
Oh yeah.
Can you explain the story about your dad's tattoo with the Maiseyrose logo inside of a mug, which is, I mean, the mug, the logo's great. The Maiseyrose logo looks great. The mug, not so much.
Yeah.
I mean, talk to me about that tattoo, mate.
Alright, it's a little bit rascal, isn't it, really? No, so my dad and me, we always call each other a mug, yeah? And if you bet anything in my family, you're going to have to go do it. And I said to him, I was like, I bet you won't get a tattoo of a mug. And he said to me, I bet I won't do one. So anyways, I'm a lovely female, do you know what I mean? So I went and got a teacup, yeah? And I said to the tattooist, I give him a piece of paper or whatever, it's like a proper Sports Direct mug. And it's tattooed on the back of his ankle. And then all of a sudden he goes, I want to get your logo in it. So he's gone and got a logo, the MR logo, wherever it is, on a Sports Direct mug on the back of his leg. Awful.
I've just realised my light's gone out, so we'll keep this the last one. I mean, Maze, this is more of a chat more than anything. Obviously, just spicing up the content instead of just putting a camera in front of your face and saying things. But have you got any kind of questions for me? Any final words? I mean, this is the scary moment, by the way, guys. I'm never on camera. I'm always scared of what Maiseyrose is going to say when I give her the mic. But yeah, any questions for me? Any final words? I mean, for the fans eagerly anticipating your return, mate.
We had a lovely 4 rounds of sparring just then, Regan, didn't we?
We did. Yeah.
Didn't we?
We did. It was enjoyable. You did spring it on me, but it was fun. We like punching, don't we, mate?
I'll tell you something. Yeah, you tried to give it the big one in the last round, didn't you?
Yeah, that was a mistake. I think my words were "come on, Maisie," whilst you then landed 3 hooks to my temple.
He's gonna break me now. I'm a now girly now. I've really tried to reevaluate my life. Do you know what I mean? He broke me now, and then I saw red, stuck it on him big time, and then I did hear a little. Do you know what I mean? Little body shot. That's it. I let him off the hook, really. So.
I think the funniest part of that is that I heard you say I've broke me now, and I went, what was that, Maisie? And you went, don't worry about it, and then proceeded to punch me in the head, which obviously was a spar. I should have expected it, but yeah, I mean, fun times, mate. Cheers for roping me into that.
It's alright. Yeah, you did well, mate.
Looking forward to the next one. I mean, that's the second fight, so we know what's next. Trilogy fight, mate.
That's it. If you're there, be there. Do you know what I mean?
Always here, mate. Always here. I did come here to interview Emily Whitworth today, and yeah, Maiseyrose said, "Have you got your sparring gear?" I said yes, and I knew what was happening next. But Maiseyrose, a bit more of an informal chat today, mate. But thank you very much for your time as always, and yeah, looking forward to seeing you next time.
Love it.
Bosh. Cheers, mate.